Oh hi! So the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo came out today, so that's fun. It's free to download for everyone on PS4 starting this morning. It features three modes: the classic, easy, and normal mode. Easy and normal were kind of built from the ground up for this particular remake, where it features more of an action design. And then you have the classic mode, which is for the nostalgics out there like me, who might want a more familiar gameplay experience. Well, or at least that's what I thought it was. So far I've played the demo twice, once on normal, once on classic. So, I am the experts around here, and I'm here to offer a little insights on what gameplay mode you might want to pick for when the real game comes out. But before we get into that, I'd really appreciate if you left this video a rating down below, thumbs up or thumbs down, if you subscribe to my channel, and if you looked in the description for all my other social medias, including my Twitch channel, where I stream almost every day. So yeah, let's get into it. This mode lets you freely move around during combat, unleash regular, heavy attacks, blocks, dashes, lets you lock onto enemies and switch between them at your leisure. Hitting enemies with attack will build up your ATB gauge, which kind of replaces a turn in a classical turn-based RPG. Once the gauge is full, you'll be able to use spells, abilities, and items by going into the command menu, which also will stop time, giving you the opportunity to gather your thoughts. Normal mode also introduces the pressured and staggered mechanics. Dealing enough damage will put enemies into pressured mode, and a staggered gauge will appear under their health bar. Filling it up to the max is as easy as just packing on the damage. Attacks, spells, abilities will all help the staggered gauge to fill up, and once an enemy is staggered, they're unable to attack and they take more damage. The remake also introduces a new mechanics in the form of unique abilities, which are not the same as limit breaks, but are unique to every character. Each one has a different one. For example, Cloud can go into operator mode, where he'll move more slowly but deal a lot more damage. Barret has an overcharge, which unleashes a powerful barrage of bullets, dealing increased damage over a regular attack. Barret and Cloud are the only playable characters in the demo, so that's all we know as far as unique abilities go. You can also switch between characters at any time by pressing the D-pad, but if you prefer, you can use the order menu to make a non-controlled character use a spell or item. That being said, you cannot order a character to use a unique ability. You'll have to switch character for that. You will also be forced to switch characters when an enemy binds your character and renders them unable to fight for a few seconds. I think it's fair to assume that the binding abilities of enemies are exclusive to bosses or really strong enemies. You only get hit by a binding attack by the boss in Act 1 of the demo. I found that non-controlled characters don't really attack that frequently, or at least not enough, because if you take a look at their ATB gauge, it doesn't fill up quite as fast as your controlled character. So I think this again will maybe force your hand into switching characters. Limit breaks are back and function in a similar fashion as they did in the original. You take damage, your limit gauge fills up. Once it's full, you can use your limit break ability to deal massive damage. Staggering enemies also fills up your gauge, which is new to the remake. Personally, I found the new combat method to be disorienting and overly complicated. Between building up your ATB, blocking, dodging, launching spells, using items, switching, or giving character order, it just felt a bit too much. But hey, that's fine, right? Because there's always classical mode. Or is there?
Now, go! It's on you.
Yes, it's my turn. Bring it in.
Okay, so what about classic mode? It's just like playing Final Fantasy VII on PS1, right? Well, not so much. Classic mode in FF7 Remake is another word for story mode difficulty that you see in other games. A mode that is there only for people who don't want to struggle during fights and just enjoy the story. Classic mode puts the regular remake gameplay just on autopilot. Attack, dodges, and blocking, and movements are all performed automatically. You just need to wait for your ATB gauge to fill. When it does, you'll need to actually start playing by using spells, abilities, or items. You'll also be in charge of turning on or off the unique abilities of each character. I spent most of the classic game mode just watching battles as they unfolded. Regular enemies are so easy you can get rid of them with regular attacks, which are performed automatically by the game. That being said, you can jump in at any time you want to perform the attacks, the dodges, and the blocks. But I personally found myself letting the game play itself out, except for near the end where I just got fed up with it and just spammed the attack button. Since classic mode can only be played on easy, you don't really have to think about combat that much. Which, in my opinion, is nothing like classic Final Fantasy VII, and calling this game mode classic just doesn't make any sense in my opinion. Although I found that classic mode alleviated some of the frustration of regular gameplay like the dodging and blocking, which I found imprecise. It also makes character switching easier since you don't have to be performing all these other movements and button presses at the same time. But this is most likely due to the fact that you're playing on easy when you're in classic mode, so it doesn't necessarily fix the problems that I had with normal, it just makes them easier to deal with. So basically, to recap, there's no such thing as a classic mode in Final Fantasy VII. You know, after playing on normal, I was very frustrated with it, so I thought, well, it's fine, I'll just enjoy classic a lot more, being that I'm a fan of the original. But now that I know what classic really is, I just find myself forced to just go and try to master normal mode in order to have a more fulfilling experience and not feel like I'm just watching a movie. So to recap, there's no such thing as a classic mode in Final Fantasy VII Remake. You really only have the ability to choose between 3 difficulty levels: super easy, easy, and normal. And I think that's just unfortunate. So did you guys play the demo? If so, what did you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching. I'll see you later, okay?